Welcome back. Nice to see you. Hope you guys enjoyed your break. We've been gone for a while. We have lives too. Track meets. I was on vacation. I'm not gonna lie. I was in Hawaii.
We're in Honolulu.
I was in Maui.
Wow. What was that like? Sum that up in 35 seconds.
Great. Amazing. Postcard. This postcard. There's beaches that look like real life postcards.
Man, that's
like,
insane.
Yeah. So was in Maui. Happy Father's Day to all those guys who were out there because we missed that week because you had to track meet. And then I went to Maui. I could have podcast from Maui, but I'm not gonna lie, I just didn't want to. It was my vacation. I wouldn't make you podcast on your vacation either. But it's back. It's your boy Al Rowe. We got our girl Candice Davis Price. And we have a good show today. We're back to our rank.
We had a great show today.
We're back to our rank. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to be honest with you. Like it's the top five that's arguable. The rest of them really don't matter when you think about it. Like they don't matter. I should say they don't matter because I played with somebody that's not in the top five. Actually, two of them, but it doesn't. I mean, it is what it is. But as you said, we are going to the position of quarterback, and yeah, we're on quarterback. So we're wrapping up our rankings on positions. This is the final one. We saved the best position for last, unless you want to do kickers. Our next one after this will be we're going to pretty much make a team. So your top position, your top person at each position for you, top position, and then we're going to do the top 10 games. That's just a little bit of foreshadowing in what we're going to do. But for now, we are going to look at the top 10 quarterbacks and the history of the University of Southern California football program. How was this research for you this time?
I mean,
were you as amped as D-line? I didn't mean to cut you off, but were you as amped as D-line?
Nah, I mean, I appreciate the QB position, and I wasn't. But as I started making the list, and even like in the last few hours, I had a couple audibles because I was just like, okay, I missed a few, and then I get sentimental because I'm like, I got to make sure the guys I knew on there. So,
I think two of the guys you know are in the top 10. I hope two of the guys you know are in the top 10.
Yes.
It's just depend where you put them in the top 10. But two of the guys you have on there should be in the top 10.
Absolutely.
So all right.
Of my top 10, 6 I know personally.
6?
6.
No, that's not possible.
6.
That's not possible. There's not 6 on there that you know. I give you 4. There should be 4 in your top 10 that you know.
All right.
4. You have 2 too many.
In my top 10? I mean, my top 5, I only know 2.
Okay, that makes sense. But in your top 10, in your top 10, you should only have 4.
Wait, when you start this off, you might disconnect me.
You should only know 4 in your top 10, unless I'm missing somebody.
You're gonna be like, bad connection. We'll have to next week.
This is another Lindell White. Get your fingers ready to leave the comment.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, you're right.
All right. So, as usual, we start off ladies first. We're going to jump right into this thing. Number 10. Who's your number 10?
My number 10, he played backup quarterback to the greatest quarterbacks at USC. And definitely doesn't get the credit that he's due. But because the bottom 5 is a little shaky, I felt it was fair that Matt Castle rounded out my top 10. He's the greatest thing that never was everywhere. Would you agree?
All right. So I play.
Say it again. It broke up.
You were breaking up. Say it one more time. What did you say? He's the greatest thing that never was?
Everywhere he's been. The Patriots, Kansas City.
He started, USC. Though. He started for a little bit. He started for a little bit in the NFL. But
yeah, so
Yeah, Matt Castle's not one of the greatest quarterbacks in USC history.
Oh, hey, I had to keep it interesting. And to be honest, the top 5, bottom 5, he has the flexibility. So, Matt Castle, what you got?
So when you say he was a backup to some of the greatest quarterbacks in USC history, my number 10 was actually a backup to some of the greatest quarterbacks in USC history also. But I thought we were going down the same road, but he only started for 1 year. He only started for 1 year, and Pete was pretty upset when he left. I know him from like high school career because I went to Poly, he went to Mission Viejo, and like we had a little rivalry at that time because we were actually like two of the top teams in Southern California. But my number 10 is I'm gonna go with Mark Sanchez.
Woo! Low blow.
That's not a low.
We got a lot of flexibility between 10 and 5, and you put.
It's not a low blow because when you look at it, he only played 12. He played 13. He played about 15 games because he played 2 games when JD broke his finger, and then he played a whole season, and then he left. He played 13 games.
Didn't he throw for over like 3,000 yards?
Okay.
I'm saying that's the idea, is that we could think about a player who's played 4 years, 2 years, 1 year, pound for pound. Okay, well, you already know he's higher on my list, so there.
Yeah, I get you, and I know Mark. I know Mark personally. I drink Dolphin juice with Mark, aka light blue Mad Dog 2020s, and Cardinal Gardens parking lot. Mark is my guy. But
still there?
Yes, it is still there. I just saw my son Cardinal Garden the other day when we went to the Dodger game. It's still there. They're actually renovating them.
Oh, good. Long overdue. Okay, so I have Matt Castle. You have Mark Sanchez.
Yeah. You want me to go with my number 9?
Yeah,
I'll go with my number 9. So my number 9 was also a backup to some of the great quarterbacks. He actually has the Rose Bowl record for most touchdown passes.
Okay.
He was a solid quarterback. He wasn't. He didn't. I'll put it like this: if he played anywhere else, he would be great. But because he played after Matt Leinart, the expectations were way too high for him, and I don't think it was fair for him. But he was actually solid. He made good plays. He was a good leader, but he wasn't a vocal leader. Kept to himself. He's from Louisiana. He graduated high school early to come in early.
Okay. Shreveport.
My number 9 is John David Booty.
And an MLB draftee, right? Or a draft pick.
I didn't know about that one. You teach me something new.
And then he had brothers that played in what you call it. But yeah. So I who you got?
John David Booty.
Okay. Yeah, my list is very interesting, that's for sure. My number 9, again, it gets interesting. I got Matt Barkley.
That's not bad for number 9. That's not bad.
I think that's a solid place for him. You'd say?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not bad. I don't see anything wrong with that. That's you're back on the right track. You're back on a good pace. At first you're running a 65 400. Now you're back to like running like a 50. You're back. Your pace is good. All right. So we're going to number 8. Okay. So go ahead and tell me what your number 8 is.
Who's your number 8? Because my number 8, I kind of threw in some veteran guys, and I'll just be honest, I don't know too much as I should, but I just did some research based off of who you got.
So my number 8 was actually a pretty good guy. He played in the 80s, had a legendary career at USC. He actually came back to be an AD, but his AD career didn't go as successful as his playing career. He's actually a pretty good guy. I met him before he was an AD because he used to always come back to the school.
Right.
But you know who I'm talking about, huh?
I do know who you're talking about, and he's one of the people that he tops my list at 7. I know and met, but I don't know him like I know the other guy. So
yeah, so he's actually a good person, but they say he was tough when he was AD. But I mean, I think anybody would be tough. Either one of us, if we became an AD at SC, I think we'll be really tough because we have a standard. But so my number 8 would be Pat Hayden. And then so for your number 8, who are you going with? What's your number 8?
All right, I got a little bit of help on this one, but let me. Pete Beathard.
Okay, I need years.
He's like 1960. He won the Rose Bowl in 1963. So I had to like dig, and Desmond gave me a little help on that one. He's like, you got to throw. I showed him my list. He's like, you got to throw some old school in there. So old school, Ray old school, like born 1942. Probably had a
not alive anymore. If he was in college in 1963,
he's 81 years old.
He is. He's still alive.
Yep.
We should get Pete on the show. Somebody get us in touch with Pete. Yeah. We want to talk to Pete Beathard.
Pick of the first round.
Huh?
NFL draft. First round pick overall.
There you go.
Yep. So I had to throw somebody, because people be on my head about, okay. So there we go. That's what I got. I don't know him, so.
I don't know him either, but. All right. So it's on my number 8.
Okay.
So this is when you start to struggle because, man, you have these battles. You try to figure out who goes where. So for me, 8 through 6 was kind of hard. I actually, all right, 4.
Oh, you got just spit it out. You nervous?
Nah, I'm not nervous. It's just the fact. I just wanted to let you know, like, what I was thinking when I did this.
Oh, okay.
I just want to let you know, like, so 8 through 6 got hard for me.
Okay.
In the case because, like, I think it's one of those where anybody could be anywhere.
Okay.
But, I just had to do some research and I just started to look, and so my guy that I'm gonna go with this guy. Actually, he played in 92 to 94. He was they labeled him the bright light for dark times because SC wasn't that great for right there.
Okay.
Back then. He threw 3,000 years all years he started and only had 6 interceptions. So when you look at those stats, he's pretty good. 29 touchdowns back there was pretty good because they ran the ball a lot. Right. But I'm gonna go with Rob Johnson.
Rob Johnson. I read a little bit about him. Okay.
That's who I'm gonna go with. That's my number 8.
What year is he?
He's 92 to 94.
Okay.
Hold on, let me check that. Yeah, 92 to 94. 92, 93, 94. So he left early also.
Okay. Is he another Mission Viejo guy?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Good choice.
Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah, I mean, no arguments. Number 7.
Yeah, number 7.
I think this is an appropriate place for him. Not in the top 5 at all. Relatively could have been top 5 had season because he was back up to greatness. And stats-wise, off the chart. I don't have to list that because you can check that out online. I'm going with Mark Sanchez.
Okay.
Too high?
No.
Okay.
It's your list. Too high for me. Too high for me because let me how do I explain it? He is probably one of the few that played that small a time and had that much success, which I guess makes him good. But at that time, it was already at the pinnacle. And they were on the fall.
Yeah,
they're on the pinnacle.
I mean, I feel like he stays another year, then he doesn't make our list.
Was it him or was it the talent?
I think there's a combination. Like, just being 100%, seeing Mark and knowing him just as a player, as an athlete, as a peer, not some dynamic roll out the bed, like incredible quarterback. Let's just be fair, but groomed based off of the personnel around him to fit in that time and be great. So I think, he did the best. Like, you're right. He stays one more year. He's not on the list. So
I will tell you this: we were actually like in a team meeting one time, and Mark threw a pass, and Coach Carolina was like, "That's one of the best throws I've ever seen in my life." Like he does like highlights from practice. He was like, "That's one of the best throws I've ever seen in my life." Like, so I'm not gonna take anything from Mark. Mark was very athletic. He's a good person. Total California beach boy, curly hair,
like
tan, super chill. But I just don't. I think he's top 10, but I don't. I think he's 10.
Well, if I didn't know it, well, look, I'll just be fair. If I didn't know him, maybe he's 9, because I know him is 7. So he's getting.
I got you. He got bonus points for knowing you.
That's quite a few people on my list get bonus points because I know them.
If you share the Galen Center meal with Candice Davis Price, you get like 10 extra points.
If it was Thursday night and the guys got to pick what they wanted to cater, the person that is at the top of my list fed me good when I was just a lowly freshman. So
those are always the seniors.
Oh yeah, look, took good care of me. So we'll get to there, but yeah. So Mark Sanchez.
All right. So before we get to number 6.
All right.
Before we get to number 6, do you know what this weekend is? This weekend is the USFL Championship. And if you want to bet on the USFL Championship, I have a place for you to go. Go to Bet Online. Bet Online, you get all of the up-to-minute live odds, updates. They have horse racing. They have basketball. They have baseball. They are one of the best places to go. You get anything that you need there on Bet Online. You can bet on anything possible and get the best odds you could possibly get. In fact, this Bet Online is actually one of our – that's why the name of our show is the Bet Online Salute to Troy podcast. We're going to match your deposit with up to 50% if you use promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. Once again, that's BLEAV. And you can go bet on that USFL game this weekend and get you some money. Bet Online.
And if you live in California, you definitely need some money because gas is in your pocket. So go ahead and get on there and bet.
Bet Online, where the game begins. And we also have it rolling, the promo code rolling down in our little ticker down there. So just wait for it to come through. All right. We are on number – is it my number 7? It is my number 7.
Oh, yeah, it's your number 7.
So my number 7
–
so I think my number 7 is kind of my number 7, I even have faith for him in the NFL, but he's doing terrible in the NFL, and all my friends make fun of me. But I think when this kid played at SC, he was good. He had the potential to be good, but he was in one of the dark eras of SC. But he played really good. I'm gonna go really young here, but my number 7 is Sam Darnold.
Okay, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I still want Sam Darnold to be good. I feel like Sam Darnold. This is how good I want Sam Darnold to be. I feel like Sam Darnold is going to be good enough to hold the 49ers this year, and the 49ers are still going to win the NFC West once their quarterback's come back.
I don't know if I'd be betting on that one. I might not, but thank you. Thank you for that. Anybody that knows it, like, man, you have this thing for Sam Darnold. I'm like, because he was just so good in college, but I want him to be like so good in the pros because he's like, oh, he went to SC, like he's really good. Absolutely,
but Sam, all you need to do is be good for half the season. Just be good for half the season.
For the right part of the season, postseason. That's where you got to be good.
Oh, he won't be playing postseason. They'll be back to their starting quarterback, but there's 2 starters are injured. Right. So he has to like carry out like 8 games. Just get to 8, Sam. Just get to 8. Manage the game and don't turn the ball over.
Manage the game. I like that.
Yep. All right, we're to number 6.
My number 6, we already talked about him. Not too far off of yours. I'm gonna just read 5,700 yards. That seems like quite a bit. 52 touchdowns. Some of the best numbers at USC, and he is from the boot. That would be Louisiana. I got John David Booty.
I got you. I mean, if John David Booty was at Oregon State, Cal, Stanford, Washington State, UCLA, Arizona State, because we played in the Pac-10 then. If he was at any of those 9 schools, John David would have been a legend at those schools. Jersey retired. Probably have potential for a first-round draft pick. John happened to be there at the wrong time, and JD ended up happening to be the quarterback after Matt Leinart.
Agreed.
Same thing with Chauncey. Chauncey wasn't a bad running back. Chauncey was just the starting running back after Reggie Bush.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? And so, like, expectations were high for fans. Only thing is we were still winning. We were still winning the Rose Bowl, so we're still selling it out. But JD was not a bad quarterback.
No,
he just wasn't Matt Leinart.
No, and I agree 100%. Obviously, injuries, had he not had injuries, and those are the things that it's tough when you're talking about players. Had this not happened, had these situations, but unfortunately, those are all factors into deciding what separates, when you're doing a top 10 list.
But he never seriously got injured. He broke his finger, and then he was out for one game. He was out for 2 games. Mark played those 2 games. He lost one, won one, and then he came back. You know what I mean? But he played like his whole junior year. He played his whole
20-3 record, including 2 Rose Bowl victories.
Yes, and he has the record for touchdowns in the Rose Bowl. Like, he's not bad. JD is good. He was a very good, and he got drafted where he deserved to be drafted. He had the career that he was projected to have. He was a journeyman. Probably got pension. You know what I mean? Got his 5 years or whatever. You need to get pension, and he was solid. Like, I don't. What you put in JD there, I don't see anything wrong with that, and I could see. I don't see anybody arguing that. Like, that's a good spot for JD.
I might have picked up a fan or 2, or like somebody.
Well, JD also got 10 extra points because you also had dinner with him at the Galen Center, so that doesn't count either.
And you know what? There's something about, I'm from the Midwest, and California is a whole nother monster. And this gentleman, and I say gentleman, always had Southern hospitality when you interacted with him. You did not know. From my understanding, I might look it up. He comes from a family of athletes, I believe major league football players, and you would never know. Just true Southern hospitality. Didn't have that LA flash, that swag, but still got the job done on the field. So,
he was very introverted. Mm-hmm. He was a leader by example, not by vocal, and like he was never at Leonardo's. He was never at the 2-9. He was never at the 9-0. Like, you never saw him out. And, like, the only time I've ever seen him be human was one time he was on the bus and, like, this girl walked past. He was like, that was my wife right there. And somebody was like, how do you know? He's like, I don't know. She was just very attractive. That might be my wife one day.
Yeah. Obviously, knowing me and my top 10 list, those characteristics, hit heavy. It's not always about stats.
Right. So yeah. All right. We are on to number 6.
That's your number 6. That was my number 6, right?
Who's your number 7? Mark. No, John David was your number. Oh, okay. So yeah, it's my number. Yeah, okay.
You really like my number 6. You wanted that 6 to be yours, so you knew that you could drop him low because I'm gonna put him high. So that's why you was going on and on.
No. My number 6 is the voice of USC football. I actually played with his son, and you know his son. Yeah. His son was a backup quarterback at USC. He was a walk-on, though.
Okay. And
you didn't know that, huh?
No. Who's this?
Yeah, he's the voice of USC. If you listen to USC radio on the weekend, he announces the game. He was actually very, very good. He played in I want to get the number right. I don't know if it was early 70s or it was late 70s. And he played in the late 70s.
Okay.
But he's very good. Legend. He's actually on the wall. He's on the All-American wall. Paul McDonald is my number 6.
Okay.
He was like, where are you going? Paul McDonald.
Yeah,
Paul McDonald was good.
I didn't know. Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know his son, right? His son was there when we were there.
No.
Yes. He was a backup quarterback.
What?
Yep.
I guess I was at the 2-9 and he wasn't. Let me stop.
Hold on. And I feel bad because I played with this dude, but I can't remember his son's name. But his son was a backup quarterback. Mike McDonald.
Well,
Mike McDonald.
I guess yeah, I should have. I learned something new.
Yep. There you go.
That's your number 6.
That's my number 6. So you did your number 6, right? We're going to number 5.
Yeah, my number 5 actually.
Wait. We're going to number 5. You know what we got to do when we get to number 5?
Oh, yeah.
You know what happens when we get to number 5?
What happens when we get to number 5? Enlighten me.
When we get to number 5, I tell you about how I start my morning every day with a healthy solution that gets me to 9 o'clock because I start work at 5:30 in the morning. Woo! And that is called AG1. Believe it or not, people, our girl Candice finally got her AG1 sample. We're going to make sure she gets her hands on those. It's a little lost in transit, but we're going to find it. She got her sample to AG1, so she gets to experience this. Candice is going to understand she gets to wake up in the morning, 12 ounces of water, a scoop of AG1, shake it up, drink it, and she's like, wow, I'm actually full off this. And she's going to have energy. She's going to feel better. She's going to understand all those vitamins that are inside of it are good for her, and it's a lifetime decision that she already made. And she's already like a 13-time national champion, world champion. She does all that. She already has that other good stuff. So she's going to be a beast.
You know who else drinks those greens?
AG1, Serena Williams.
Well, a USC Trojan.
Who?
The most decorated Olympian of all time, Allison Felix.
Alice, I did see her commercial. Allison Felix also does it.
So she's legit. She's been drinking them in different time zones. So I'm looking forward to getting my package.
Yep. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to ag1.com/LAFB. Salute to Troy. Again, that's ag1.com/salute to Troy. And we will take care of you. And you get your, yep.
And it's going to take care of your body.
Mm-hmm. That's drinkag1.com/salute to Troy. All right. We are in the top 5. This is going to be interesting. I'm interested to see who you have in your top 5. And I will let you go first.
All right. Actually, my number 5 is your number 6, Paul McDonald.
That's good. Okay.
I think it's great. I got to do a little bit of research. I was excited. Most interesting fact, only lost 1 game in his 2 years as a starter and winning 2 Rose Bowls. Impressive to me. So yeah, the whole idea of only losing 1 game, 2 years as a starter, big deal. So I went with Paul McDonald. And as you get to this top 5, it does get a little bit tricky. So
my number 5 is on your list. But he's a little far down. And I think he's a little far down is because he's younger than you.
Okay.
But I don't think you know he was the first true freshman that ever started at USC as a quarterback.
I probably don't know that.
To play completely 4 years. He went to Modern Day. Pretty good. He threw a good ball. He was Kiffin's quarterback. They just got hit with the violations. It was not a good time. But he actually was a very legit quarterback. I feel like if they won, I've put it like this. I feel like if they were winning, he would have won the Heisman.
Okay.
So there's little situations that happen, but my number 5 is Matt Barkley.
Okay.
For you to be the first true freshman starting quarterback at SC,
yeah, for sure. For sure. I won't take that away. I won't take it away. Yeah, and you're right. I didn't experience his era. Then I got a little bit biased, but
and he actually played all 4 years. So that's also pretty good.
I would say. Matt Barkley, you might have a fan of me. Not that it matters. Because my top 2 are fans in me for sure.
That sounds good. We are now rolling on to number 4. Here we go. Let's go. I'm interested to hear your number 4.
My number 4, and I'll just be very honest, I became, privy to how great of an athlete he was when he became an AD. And you already talked about him. He had an impressive career. You already talked all. I got Pat Hayden for my number 4.
I got you.
Yeah.
I disagree with that, but I got you. Yeah, because I think the next 4 quarterbacks that I'm going to say are better than Pat Hayden. I'm not saying Pat Hayden's not, I just think that's too high for Pat Hayden.
Okay.
That's too high. And I think you're going to leave out somebody, and I'm going to fight you because you're going to leave this dude out.
Really?
Yeah, because
I really want this next person to, I feel like they should be my number one just because I'll tell you why, but go ahead. Let's see what you got.
We're talking about the same person then.
We maybe.
Because he's my number 4.
Okay.
He has a banging wife.
Okay.
Banging wife. Great actress.
Okay.
Right?
Oh, yeah, that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, same person. First black starting quarterback. I'll just say it. First black starting quarterback.
That was going to be a lot of the reasons for number 1 for me right there.
First black starting quarterback at USC.
Say it again. Can you say it again?
He was the first black starting quarterback at USC, and he was a baller. He was a baller. I'm going to put it like this. In 1988, he won the Unitas Award. He was the Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year, and he was all Pac-10 first team. Put it like that. Now, the dude that backed him up, I don't know, man. Put it like this. He could run, he could pass, he could throw, he could do everything. He went on and he had a semi-successful NFL career, but that doesn't matter. But what he did at SC, he kind of brought him out of the light, and he did his thing, and he lit everybody up in the Coliseum and when he played in the Rose Bowl. My number 4 is Rodney Peete. I'm assuming that's your number 3. Yeah, you can't put him higher than 3.
And that's tough because I'm gonna just keep it 100. Just because he's a black quarterback at USC, I'm just like, but
the only. I shouldn't say the only. Yeah. He's the only one that played because there were some black quarterbacks who went there. Rocky Hines went there on scholarship, but he transferred. But there were other ones, huh?
Did Rocky start?
No, Rocky never started, but he was there. Then he transferred to UNLV, right? But he's the only that played.
Yeah, for all those people out there that don't think I know, I was there when Rocky Hines was there and transferred to UNLV. So he had potential to be a nice quarterback at USC, and it didn't pan out. So
he just didn't fit into that system.
Yeah, I think he also had some influences that probably could have changed some things for him. But I know him too, so I'll leave that one alone.
I actually know him too. We played at the same park growing up. I know his dad real well too.
Okay, I think he was a solid human being, and I think there was some great potential for him to bust down some barriers at USC. But he had some influences that led him to UNLV, and the rest is history.
Yeah, that's also like who I thought could have been really good at USC, but he just couldn't keep at home. He should have went to school out of state. Michael Coleman. Michael Coleman was good. Michael Coleman was really good. Michael Coleman, I'm going to go ahead and say this. Michael Coleman was a better Lindale. He was faster. He moved better. Michael Coleman was good.
All right,
but he just
getting carried away.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just hearing me out. He just couldn't get other stuff together for him to be able to get on the field for the coaches to trust him. Mm-hmm. But Michael Coleman was really good. That's neither here nor there. All right. It's disappointing though because Michael Coleman was good, man. I wanted to see Michael Coleman succeed. He was one of the first people that ever was like, "Hey, man, you want to come over and kick it?" And he was really good. He was a good person. He just couldn't bro, we're here now. Let's leave that there. But it is what it is. We are on number 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go with my number 3.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know the background story to my number 3.
Tell me.
So my number 3 came in after Rodney Peete left.
Okay.
His dad never let him play it outside. His dad didn't let him do this, didn't let him do that. He never had a Big Mac until he went to USC. This dude is by far, you hear, about OJ going to jail and all this. This dude's been to jail a lot of times. He got introduced to things at USC that he was shielded from when he was in high school, so he never knew how to say no.
Okay.
Because he was never exposed to it. When he got to SC, you're around rich people, and rich people do rich things.
Oh, you're not around rich people. You're around wealthy people.
Wealthy. people who are heirs to companies that all of us, So like, he got exposed to some things that he was not ready for because he's never really been in the real world. On the field, monster, incredible. He was a beast. He was very, very good. My number 3, and people might not agree with me, and I don't care. It's Todd Marinovich.
Oh wow!
Go back and look up Todd Marinovich.
Oh, I did, and he was in my top 10. And
you made an audible.
I made an audible, switched him out. I had to put Matt Castle on.
You didn't have to put Matt Castle on. You were just being nice.
I mean, I was, but I mean,
we could go back. All right, so your number 10 is Todd Marinovich. That's not a bad number 10. He's the top 10.
My number 8 could have been him. I had someone that was suggested to me. I'm just keeping 100 to try and fail. So
yeah,
okay. So that's your number 3.
Rodney Peete and Todd Marinovich could be 3-4 any day. Like they were like back to back.
What would tip the scale for Rodney Peete as being a black quarterback at USC?
Right.
In the 80s.
Yeah. 100%.
All right. So my number 3. Rodney Peete. And I do know his wife because we're part of an NFL Wives Association and the Off the Field NFL Wives Association. So the last 2 Super Bowls, actually, she hosts the last one in Los Angeles, she hosted a charity event, and we walked the runway for the Super Bowl, and it was for autism awareness because of her son, and they did this whole event, so I got to meet them, and so yeah, that's that. But
does she still look good?
Yes, she does.
She used to be on Hanging with Mr. Cooper. I was like,
dang, boring, wasn't it?
I was like, dang, Holly,
anymore.
Dang, Holly, let me see if she still look. I'm gonna look it up.
She does. Stand up guy, Rodney, you already said all the great things about him. I think that 3 is a great place for him. You know, it's tough not ever winning a Heisman or even a national championship, and he
was never going to win a Heisman.
I mean, what I'm saying is he's within company of people that have won.
Yeah.
It's tough to, but I think that's a healthy spot for him. So Rodney.
Damn, Holly does still look good. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. I just looked up Holly Robinson. You know, they say that black don't crack. Well, we won't.
It doesn't.
Dang, Holly. Okay. I should have went with you. I was like, dang, I won't. Never mind. I'm about to go down the road. I'm about to say I would love to be in a room with Vanessa, Holly, Regina, Stacy, just all them old ones I used to watch when I was a kid. Like, man, I ain't even got it. I just want to sit here and have lunch with y'all. Like, I don't need this. Is enough for me. I could die tomorrow. Rodney Peete is your number 3. All right. We're getting in the top 2. So can I ask you a question? Can I just we're in the top 2. Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Well, who's number 1, 11 or 3? You're not gonna tell me?
I mean, that's a great question. How you poised that? That was good. That was good. My number 1.
No, don't skip the 2. Don't skip the 2.
I figured if I told you not what number 1 is, then you could be able to guess what number 2 was.
All right, go ahead and do it that way. Who just give the number.
Just give the number. Is number 11.
Okay.
Oh, we're gonna have a conversation about this?
We are gonna have a conversation about it.
Okay, I'm down for this conversation.
All right, so tell us why Carson is your number 2 and Matt is your number 1.
Had Carson Palmer paid for another school, he would be regarded as the greatest quarterback probably ever. Unfortunately, he only got a little bit of Pete Carroll juice, and I think he is incredible. And he laid the blueprint for number 11, hands down. But number 11, like, I mean, what is there?
Could you say that number 11 benefited from what number 3 has started?
Absolutely. I said he laid that blueprint. He laid the blueprint, and it's like there was a bit of some coattails.
Do you think number 11?
It's kind of like when I walk into USC and I used to have to make my own muscle milk with the blender off the top. And when y'all
the
run
Gatorade Cup,
Rose Bowl and national championship, and now I go to USC and you got to have a display to walk into the training room.
Oh, they're getting a new facility. They're getting a new facility.
Exactly, and the one they have right now,
it's 10 years old.
They're
getting a new facility. It's only the Mekhi is only about 10 years old, and they're getting a new one. They're getting a new one behind Howard Jones, where that parking lot is. They're getting rid of that parking lot. They're redoing the baseball. They're getting a brand new facility.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's elite, hands down. He set the blueprint for your Lionhearts, your Booties, your Sanchez's, your Barkley. He set that. Your Future, your Caleb. He set that. And had Matt Leinart not went to USC, Carson Palmer would be number 1, but he's number 2. And I think, honestly, given his personality and his humbleness and the noble spirit he has, he's okay with number 2. That's that.
So why is Matt number 1?
Why is Matt number 1?
Yeah, why is Matt number 1?
I believe he's like the most winningest quarterback at USC. I don't think there was one award he didn't win. 10,000 yards. Like, we could take 2 of our quarterbacks that are on the bottom 5 and combine them, and they don't have his stats, right? Not to mention you got 10,000 yards and you have Reggie Bush. So how you got yards and you still? It's not like we had no run game, right?
All right. You also have Mike Williams and Dwayne Jarrett and Steve Smith and Kerry Colbert.
Bomb.com. Mike Williams and Kerry Cole. Oh, Steve, awesome sauce.
So Matt Leinart and Carson Palmer have won all the same awards.
99 touchdowns. 99 touchdowns. And this is and you made a great point. The amount of talent, spectacular. Mike Williams, Kerry Colbert, Steve Smith, Reggie Bush, Lendell White, the amount of talent he had, and he still put these numbers up. So typically, like, oh, well, they had a great one game, so he didn't have to throw. So no, the guy, 10,000, what? Okay. So that's why he's my number 1. And he fed me in the Galen Center when I was just a little underclassman. I'm like, dang, these football players get to eat all this. And this was before NCAA cared about any other sport besides football and basketball. So we're going in the Galen Center, and they're literally giving us the welfare sandwiches while USC football gets catered. And Matt Leinart, make sure your girl ate.
So those Thursday catered meals, he looked out for those Thursday catered meals.
Yep.
When the seniors got to pick, that's nice of Matt.
Oh goodness.
So
I hope.
You hope what?
I hope that you didn't choose the dark side.
So I have number 3 at number 1 and number 11 at number 2.
Excuse me?
I have number 3 at number 1.
Kind of mumbled it.
I have number 3 at number 1 and number 11 at number 2. Don't look at me like that. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
And this is an argument that could go on for ages. Who's better, Matt or Carson?
Okay.
Who's better, Matt or Carson, right?
It's similar to your Kobe or Jordan. There's no Kobe. Right. There's no Kobe without Michael Jordan.
Right. And I get that. And that is why Carson is number 1. Like, that's why OJ is my number 1. That's why Carson was the first jersey to start to fill the end zone. Before that, there was just 4 jerseys out there. It was Mike Garrett, OJ Simpson, Anthony Davis, Marcus Allen, right? Okay. Now you got number 3, you got number 5. Put number 5 back out there. Number 5 should be out there. You got number 11. Now you got number 13. Carson was the first quarterback ever in USC history to win a Heisman Trophy. The first.
Okay.
Carson had Mike Williams. He didn't have Dwayne Jarrett, but he had Mike Williams, Kerry Colbert. He had Steve Smith as a freshman. Like, he had all those guys that were seniors when you were a freshman. He had those guys. He was the foundation of the start of the Pete Carroll era.
Okay.
At the most important position to ever hold the football. And he bought in and was able to do it. And when he bought in and finally everything was complete, they win the Orange Bowl MVP, Heisman Trophy winner, 11-2, and the rest is history. Put it like this: if Mike McDonald's the quarterback, then I don't think Pete Carroll ever gets to be where he is. Quarterback is the most important position. They legit touch the ball every single play.
I agree.
The defense starts up football starts at the middle for offense and defense. You have to have a legit interior D-line. You have to have good linebackers. You have to have a good safety. You have to have a good center, a good quarterback. Like, I think Carson just set the standard for what a USC quarterback. Put it like this. Here you go. Here, watch this. Don't get me wrong. Matt was great. And Matt, what you say?
Phenomenal.
Matt was played for one of the best teams. Played for one of the best teams in the history of USC. And I'm not going to take every single list that we have named. There's been teammates of Matt's on one of the lists. Every last one of the lists we have named, there's been teammates of Matt. And I'm not taking anything from Matt. But all I'm saying is, Ken Dorsey won a national championship in Miami with another very good team. That's all I'm saying. Carson did not have what Matt had, and he won a Heisman.
Okay.
He had the very beginning. It's like if I give you 2 leaves of a plant that grows fruit, and you end up eating the same amount of fruit as if I gave somebody a tree. That's all I'm saying. I'm not taking anything away from Matt.
I don't think you are.
But Carson set the standard.
Agreed.
He is the one. When did USC become? They always been a quarterback school, but when has it become? If I'm a quarterback at USC, it's Heisman or bust, and that started with Carson.
And I bet you if you ask Matt, he puts Carson above himself. Absolutely, but that's why I'm here, because everything that you just said, he laid the foundation, and that only solidifies why he's number 2. Because in order for Matt Leinart to be number 1, when I pull up some stats, when you're like, yeah, they identically have a lot of the same accolades. But when you say 72 touchdowns for Carson Palmer, and then you say 99. So if we were like, oh, Carson had 72, Matt Leinart had 75, it's tight. Everything that Matt did, he had to do better because Carson was that deal, and he was that guy. Carson Palmer plays for Pete Carroll for 4 years. We're talking something different. And guess what? When we do this podcast next year, there's going to be a different number 1.
It can't be. No way.
Well, okay, I won't say there's going to be a different number 1, but your top 3 is going to look a little bit different than it does now, just in the next year.
And the next year, right, the top 3 is going to look a little bit different. Maybe.
I'm not that good at math, but we're talking about almost.
But hold on, Candice. This is where you don't look so much into passing yards in today's game compared to Matt's game, because there was still a predominant run game. Lincoln doesn't really run the ball that a lot, so passing yards are a little bit inflated now because it's a passing game. So, I'll put it like this. If number 13 wins another Heisman, he's the greatest quarterback in USC history.
This is going to be very unpopular, and Caleb, I don't know you. I'm gonna just say that, and people could say a lot of my choices or the players I pick based off the characteristics and how I know them. So maybe if I get to know him, but I don't see him as spectacular. I don't. I don't know if I need to see more. And you're right. You need to
see more.
I need to see more. Like I sat at a USC and maybe again, my mind is jaded. I sat at a USC game and I was just kind of like, oh, this is nice. And don't get me wrong. It's the Caleb show. But like you said, what Matt Leinart and what Carson Palmer had around them and still shined. Like, let's just be real. USC's football team is going to be phenomenal for what they picked up in this, the era of transfer portal.
Right. But, so Caleb did that. Caleb did that with Todd Helton recruits. Year one, Caleb doing that.
Like his QB stats are great because he's a QB and he's executing that position. So I'm not taking that away. But for him to have, we're talking about Matt Leinart, we're talking about at that time, USC was drafting like the top 3 and 4 rounds were all USC, Notre Dame guys. USC hasn't been putting up any draft prospects like that, and it's been a drought. Fair to say?
There has not been a drought. There has only been 4 schools to draft somebody in every single round of the draft for the past 5 years, and USC is one of them.
Oh, that's a great statistic. Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, there has not been a drought. There's also been a high school out there that has also drafted somebody. That's drafted somebody every year in the draft. That's Long Beach Poly High School. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, I knew that. I'm from Michigan. I know better. I'm just saying, I'm not taking away from Caleb. When you talk about Williams and Colbert and Steve Smith and Lindell, when you talk about this and Desmond Reed, okay, don't forget my boy Desmond Reed. When you talk about how spectacular they were as receivers and they put up these mega numbers in addition to this QB, like, I just don't see that same team dynamic. I see Caleb shining. I see him executing his position. Like you said, the scheme is set up for for this quarterback to shine. But I'm like, I need everyone to eat and you be a mega star.
Jordan Addison was pretty good, though. You're saying
pretty good.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, he got drafted in the first round to a team. He got drafted in the perfect position to be a NFL superstar. Jordan Addison was good. He's going to the Vikings.
How many? Yeah, I'm not saying
he won the award for the best receiver in college football.
I'm not saying that they're bad. Don't hear me. I'm not saying. I sat in a Coliseum and watched like magic happen. Things that I'm like, wait, what? And I grew up in Michigan when Charles Woodson wins the national championship. So it's not like I have these jaded eyes that I'm like, oh, I'm a girl and football's great. Like, no, I've seen spectacular football. I've seen spectacular things. And to see what Matt had around him with that team, like, when I sat in the stage, I went, and I think it was Landon Johnson. He hurt he tore his ACL in that game. And I was just kind of like, oh yeah, he's nice. But what is everybody else doing? It wasn't just one receiver. Like, you could slide in our second string and we still good. So
right. And Carson won a Heisman and he didn't have what Matt had. That's what put Carson in that one.
Okay.
That's what the margin, put it like this, the margin is very, very small.
Let's do this. I'm interested because what I'm feeling is if Matt Leinart comes before Carson Palmer,
he's number one. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very small margin. It's like, it's not like.
Is Matt Leinart as good as he was because Carson Palmer existed?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I think put it like this. And I will say this, and Matt Leinart was exceptionally well in college football. He was an excellent quarterback. I'm not taking anything away from him. You put JD, if JD beats Matt Leinart out, we're talking about JD right now.
Really? Okay.
The tools were just in place.
Definitely beating Matt Leinart in the foot race because your boy Matt got.
Yeah, he was slow, but the tools were put in place.
Cinder blocks on his feet.
They had an excellent OC at the time. Like, their OC was excellent. Like, everything was Norm Chow.
We'll say it again.
Norm Chow.
That guy.
Everything was just put in place. Like, it just worked out. It was a perfect situation for Matt. And I don't want anybody to think that's what he was still good. He was still, but I just think the fact that Carson did it with a little bit less and won the same awards makes him a little bit better.
All right.
That's all. If Carson's first and then Matt, then if Matt beats out Carson as a freshman, right, when he came in his freshman year, because Matt backed up Carson for 1 year. If he beats out Carson and plays as a true freshman, Matt is the greatest quarterback of all time. Because we even with the career that he had, plus that makes him the greatest quarterback of all time. But Carson set the standard of quarterbacks having to win the Heisman Trophy. Absolutely. In my opinion. That's what I think.
For sure. No disagreement there. And I think, and I will say, not that it has too much of a factor, but when you look at Carson, just there's a humility about him that he's not a flash guy. He's a true team player, solid leadership. Those characteristics probably have a little bit to play on. Like when you think of Matt, it was just Hollywood, and he was bringing, stars, him in his own regard. I mean, it was just this electrifying, contagious superstar environment that Matt brought that Carson just didn't have. And that's just what they call an X factor. So the level of attention that he was getting and what Matt was bringing set the new standard to when I come to USC and I'm like, yo, bro, you suck. Why do you have to have a fingerprint to get to the training room? Like, what?
Does it really make you that mad that we were pretty much in a dungeon working out? Now they get all this new state-of-the-art stuff.
Right. You might as well have sent us to like Max 5 prison in Chino Hills. Like, look, the reality.
All your hard work, that picture behind you, that's you probably winning, breaking some type of record.
Yeah.
You doing that. You doing that is the reason why they have all this stuff now. Like,
I love it.
They deserve it. Like we're just a little ahead of our time. Like I'm happy they doing that. What we need to do is my job needs to build that new stadium though. So who do I need to talk to at SC so I can get that new? You said what? I need to talk to Jessica so we can get that built, and I will be on that project.
You can put your whole government name out there, but Jessica will make it happen. You got the plugs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would and honestly, like when I look back at it, Matt and Reggie, I would season.
Excuse me, sorry.
Go ahead. You got it. Cut that. Ryan, you might have to cut that out. Find that one right there. I got to send it to you. I got this. I have this candid.
You showed it to me. Is that when you were at somewhere and they both saw you? And you took a picture with them in Michigan?
News.
Yeah. It was the big noon, and they were at Michigan at the high school, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you showed it to me.
I got this interview with Matt, and he talks about how he actually was going to go to Michigan, and he came, and he just had this really candid conversation, and it was really nice to hear him talk about me, how I didn't see myself. And I was like, I just always was like, man. And it was never Matt Leinart, this football player. He was always just like a good leader. He was a good peer. He gave sound advice for everything that this was trying to happen. I'm fortunate to have been around that. So when I see Matt, it's like he definitely was challenging. He was setting a standard. Reggie was the same. There were these conversations that when I look back that we were having was like, no one was thinking about being, Super Bowl MVPs. We was literally just trying to eat. They wasn't, you feel me? Was nobody feed. We was trying to eat off whatever they were dropping off for Reggie Bush.
And this is the standard they also set too, and people don't realize it. Football won the first national championship at that time, right? They won the first one. Then all of a sudden, the water sports started achieving. Then all of a sudden, the women's golf started achieving. Then track and field is starting to blow up. And then women's soccer is winning it. Women's soccer won 2 national championships in 3 years or something like that. Water polo never lost. Volleyball takes off. Basketball goes to the Sweet 16, which at the end of the day, USC is not a basketball school. So us going to the Sweet 16 was a big deal at that time. We were like, whoa, like, damn, okay, like
you kind of
everything took off.
I feel bad when, like you said, we go to the Sweet 16. It's like how they treat Kentucky for going to the Final Four. Like,
yeah, 100%.
Like, they better win the game. It's like, dog, it's just not.
And what people don't know is when they went to the Sweet 16 that year, that was Kevin Durant's Texas team. And they beat Texas in the first round.
I remember Kevin Durant just being so skinny. Like, what?
Yeah.
How is this guy dynamic? He's here.
So that I mean, those are all the things. Like it just set off a time bomb on like all these winning programs, and which benefited from. But at the end of the day, number 3 is my number 1. Number 11 is your number 1. But we're very close.
Let me see. Can you see this?
I can't see it. I see it.
Okay, I'm about to show you.
You out here.
This is my hometown, Ann Arbor. I love wearing this in Ann Arbor. Just so you know, coming to a city near you, Ann Arbor.
By the way, we whooped on that in the Rose Bowl.
And that was my first experience at USC.
You see?
Rose Bowl with Michigan. Yeah.
But I loved it. And then
So yeah. When we talk, I don't.
This is my
she hasn't changed.
There's nothing she can say about football that's going to top that. Should we just end the interview right now?
The truth is, he is a good-looking guy, but he's an even more humble person.
Anyways, I say that to say, I don't know Carson like that, but the interactions I had, I was coming in. I think I was on my visit when Carson was still the quarterback. So I got to go to the parties and I got to have a level of interaction. So I got, and he's a stand-up class, that guy. And that definitely it made it here. But I have this type of relationship with Matt. So
there's the 10 extra points right there. There it is.
That's that. He get what is it? When you golf, they give you the mulligans or something.
The mulligan, yeah.
That's the mulligans right there.
There you go. So it's been fun. We are on next week. We're on positions. Do you want to do position? Do you want to build a team, or do you want to do greatest games?
I want to build a team.
You want to build a team next week, so we'll build a team next week.
All right.
Every position. You need 22 names.
22?
22 names.
Oh, we got to go both sides?
Both sides.
Okay.
We'll make it quick. We won't, you know what I mean? We'll make it quick.
Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. I think
22 names.
And I want to say something real quick. So we talked a little bit about it off camera. There's this young quarterback. His name is Bryce Underwood. They're saying he potentially is one of the best high school quarterbacks of all time. I've seen him. Lincoln Riley has expressed tons and tons of interest. And I coach football. Let's make it clear. I'm speed, sprint, agility. I'm not doing X's and O's. I know how to stay in my lane. And I've seen this kid throw, and sounds like he took a trip to Southern California a few weeks ago. So Bryce Underwood shakes up our list.
Let's get that the NIL money ready.
Right. So we can get. Hey, when I tell you, I seen the boy throw the ball from the parking lot to the field. I was like, boy, what?
We also just got a big commitment. We got the number 2 receiver in California going to SC, Ryan Pelham.
Okay.
He just committed, so that's big news. He'll be a senior this year, so he'll be checking. Yeah, he's a California guy. He'll be in Troy Hall in the summer for summer bridge, taking what is it called? EDP? EDPT? EDPT.
Don't bring that up. Alfred, they might repossess our degrees, okay? Don't do it.
That EDPT. You gotta be only Trojans know about the EDPT in the big yellow book.
Hey, USC was definitely stretching. And shout out to everybody in SAS, every counselor, Maggie, making sure we all stayed eligible. Shout out to keeping those football guys.
Man, they said I needed a tutor for EDPT. I was like, for what? I know how to talk to people. We gonna practice our conversations and our note taking.
Oh man, God.
Hey, if you went to SC, you took EDPT, please give us a like. You gotta give us a like for EDPT. Everybody at SC went and had EDPT. Every single last person.
That brings back the greatest memories.
Oh man. Hey, that's a good one to leave it on. It's always been good. Our girl Candice Davis Price blessed us once again. Fuller energy, gave us all we could. It's been good. This has been the Bet Online Salute to Troy podcast. As always, live free, fight on.